Hello guys, and welcome back to Let's Paint in iRacing. If you guys remember from the last episode, we are making this car in Photoshop, and where we left off, we had done this black stripe right here, and we filled in some of the blue underneath and started working on that. So today, I think what we're going to do is go and finish up this blue, bring the black around the back, and see how far we can get. So I haven't done anything since last episode, except one thing. I've gone in and I've repicked the blue color for the blue on the side of the car right here, and I've picked a pink color. I haven't tried it out yet, but I've picked one, and the picture that I pulled them off of was this one, which I said was washed out originally. And I think even though it's washed out, it seems like the colors when they get displayed in iRacing, they're a little bit darker. So I think this might actually give us a little bit better color. So I've basically gone in with the eyedropper. I pulled the blue off here, and I pulled the pink off right around here because it's still saturated, but it's nice and bright. Here is a little too dark. And I've just put them up in my swatches. So I'm just going to change the blue we've made to this powder blue that I picked over here, and we'll save it. Let's turn that off. Press, and I think that's actually a little bit better. It's a little bit brighter. It's a little bit closer to what's in the actual picture. So with that done, now let's get started. Now, if you remember, I said last time I wasn't really happy with this curve right here. And I think I have an idea to fix that. So let's give this a shot. I think the problem is that the bend here is just a little too sharp. It needs to be a little smoother, but longer at the same time. So instead of coming up like this, it needs to be nice and curvy and come back a little bit further. But I don't want to ruin this if I change it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on the layer. I'm going to hit duplicate layer to make a copy of it, and then I'm going to turn one of them off. So now if I make a mistake, I can just delete the one that I'm working on really easy. It's not so much of an issue. Or I'm just going to leave this one if I ever want to revert back, maybe like 2 days from now. I'm like, I want to go back. I can actually go back and just pick this one instead of this one, so I don't need to worry about fixing anything. So what I'm gonna try to do, and I think that the cause of the problem is the fact that I cut this anchor point off, this control point right here with the alt, and I think that was the problem. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the anchor point back, but I don't want to change this line. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna drop some guides down on where this control point is, where the handle of the control point is, because when I put the second control point on, it's going to reset this one. And so if I put these guys down, I know exactly where this control point is supposed to go when I put it on. So you'll see exactly what I mean. So I'm going to hold down Alt, I'm going to click on this and drag it out, and this is going to bring the control points, both control points back. So now with Control, holding Control, I'm going to grab the control point here, the bottom one that is doing this line here, and I'm going to put it right back here where they used to be. So now this part's fixed. Now while holding Alt, I'm going to grab this control point. So instead of clicking on the point itself, I'm going to click on the control handle, and this is going to unlock it from the other one, so I can bring it back like that. Right? So now instead of both of them moving together like this, like they used to, you can move these two control points independently of each other. And I think this might help us solve our problems. I'll get rid of these guides. And now I can take this guy here and move him a little bit back, arc it up a bit. Well, we'll see. Maybe this will do something for us, maybe it won't. We'll see. Let's take a look. Sometimes when you go in the sim, it doesn't refresh your paint scheme, so you kind of have to press Alt, Control, and Caps Lock and stuff to force it to do it again. Yeah, I think this is a little bit better. I like this better than it was before, but I still wanna move this back a little bit. So let's just move this back a tad, just a little bit. Move this back and this back. Okay. Yeah, okay, I like that. I like that a lot. That looks really nice. Okay, so with that done now, we can move on to the next part. Save as our backup, just in case. And so let's go ahead and pick this blue color, because we're going to work on the bottom side of the stripe now. And then I'll put in this white trim that goes over here. So this, let's see, it starts down, it's really smooth and gets really tight. Starts about under the mirror, goes to the fuel cell, and then looks like it goes, yeah, it goes all the way back to where the hood ends, right here. Actually, it goes beyond it. Look at that. So there's actually part of the hood that's blue and then white from the hood. Okay. Okay, so let's turn on our wireframe. Oh, it is on. Okay. Save it. Let's take a look at what we got here. So we start about So it starts about where this point, just a little bit beyond where this point is. And it goes back to just behind the door and then comes all the way forward. So it starts about here. It'll come back to around here. Really smoothly and gently. This. And then it gets really, goes from a gentle curve to it tightens out like this. And it comes in really close to this actually. It comes up like this. So there's the wheel, 1, 2, 3 maybe, 4, 5, 6. Let's go 6 up from the wheel well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the first line here. Let's just mark that off so I don't lose it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here, and then the first one. So right here, I think, is where that point is. Here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then it comes back, and it'll hit here and then come back to here, like that. So this area I find is a little bit distorted on this template as well. So it looks really short, but it might look fine when we actually do it. So it's the door, and then yeah, 1, 2, door 1, 2. So it'll come out all the way over here, and then we can bring it back, and then we'll worry about where it comes back. Oops, where it comes back exactly. I have a feeling we're gonna probably, so in the real one it comes back over here, but I'm actually gonna just bring it all the way back right to this point. I think it'll look better. So we start down here, we come, it's back behind the door. This, so we might actually need to trim some of this blue off. That's not too bad, I don't think. Let's use this point as a reference. Right here. Drop some guides down on just so, oops. So if you ever do that, you can, if you unlock it by accident, if you drag and click it off, if you grab the window and you just mouse over like the line right under your options, you can put it back. So I think right here is where I said, so Let's start roughing this shape in and see where it can get us. Let me just actually, before I do that, I want to just pull this back a little bit. Just so if this is tighter, then I don't have to worry about it. So we're going to come start over here, so click and drag. And then we're going to come back really smoothly to this point. I think I'm going to do this in multiple steps. I'm not going to do it in one shot like that. So it's going to come back like this. And then this will be like the tangent point when it starts to turn back. Like right here. We might have to tweak that a little bit. And then it tightens up a lot. Then we come back to this point like this. Move this point, and then it kind of kinks back like that. So I can't see where I'm painting now because I'm painting blue, so all over the place, and I can't see where these lines used to be. So if you want to ever kind of see what it's going to look like without the blue one, you can just take this shape and you pull the opacity down like that. So you can either click on this button, and there's a slider here. Quicker way of doing it is if you mouse over the word opacity, it turns into a little left-right icon, and you can just grab it and slide it down to 0. And then I'm just going to rough it in like this on top of where the other stuff used to be. Like this. And that. And now I can turn the opacity back on. And this black I can fix later. I can fix now. If I just grab the black, right? It's just when I pulled it in, it just pulled it a little too far, so I can pull that up. And the same goes for this blue little triangle here is from the mask over here. So let's pull that up out of the way. That doesn't look so great, but we can see where this gets us. Let me just smooth this curve out a little bit because it comes down really, really smoothly. And this comes up a little higher, so we might have to deal with door handles. Looks like we're painting over the door handle a little bit. Doesn't look too bad. We just kind of nick the edge of it. And let's let me get rid of these because I got the points down. Let me just move this up a little bit. Move this up a little bit. And this is like this is really kind of ugly and sharp right here. So I'm actually just going to turn the wireframe off now and paint a little bit because wireframe gets in the way a little bit distracting. So I'm just going to eyeball stuff in a little. Well, let's see where this gets us first, actually. It's not bad. Let's see how this looks. So yeah, see, kind of gets, I'm pointing at the screen again, kind of gets distorted here, right? On here it's, well, it's not a very good smooth curve either. Yeah, how did that happen? Oh, I see. This thing is in the way. So here, where it comes down, it's gotten in the way a little bit. And that might actually be a little bit of a problem. So we might actually need to bring this point forward because this blue line that I'm painting now is coming way too close to this black line. And it's going to be problematic, and it's not like the real paint scheme. It doesn't come that close. So let's get rid of these guides. They serve their purpose. Let's move this point forward and down a little bit. So now move down to this point right here and see where that gets us. Not bad. You haven't really destroyed the shape, but I see some problems here now. I see why this was a problem. This should follow the shape, this black line should follow the shape of this blue line, and I have it coming down. So this should come up like this and come back rather than coming down. And I think that's what was causing this problem with this line that I was having issues with. Okay, so that we'll sort that out. And then this blue line should be fine. I need to bring this back right to the edge right here. That. And then let's try to sort this guy out now. So let's bring this up. Let's rotate it back. Let's kind of just generally follow, let me turn the wireframe off. Generally follow the shape that I've got on this other layer underneath it. So let's smooth this out. Let's play with these points. Make it nice and smooth. It's not bad. And then, now this is a problem. It just looks really bad. So let's bring, so I think the idea is that this black stripe comes out like this and then comes back. So let's try to just follow the shape like as it comes along down like this. That, and let's see where that gets us. Yeah, that looks good. That looks a lot more like this. See how it just comes up, it's really close, comes back. There's it comes back a little bit, but not too much. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Okay. Okay. Now, this kind of looks a little wobbly here, and I have a feeling it has to do with the template kind of warping stuff around. So I think I might try to go back and tweak this a little bit later. Right now I just want to get the pink on here and just see how all of these colors start working together. So let's go grab the pink off of our swatch. That's really dark. Let me grab a lighter pink. This. That maybe. Yeah, I think that those colors work a little nicer together than these colors. So now, pretty straightforward to paint the full front because the whole front end of the car, yeah, except for the hood, the whole front of the car is this pink color, and except for this little black lip down here, which we'll do after. So we just go to left side. We can go underneath all of our layers. So we'll click on the last layer, and then we'll just click all the way around. So, like so. These are the insides of the wheel wells right here. These strips, these are a pain. We'll do these last because you don't want to do them now, and then if you change something here, you have to go back and change all of these. These strips paint these white strips that come down here, and then the ones in the front as well come down here, and they're a pain. They are a pain, but you got to do them because it looks really funny otherwise. So we'll just go around them right now. Won't worry about them. Come around like this. Join the line up. That. So now we'll save it and see what we got. Up these two, put them side by side like this. This needs to be darker. The blue is nice, the blue's working. I'm liking the blue. The pink, not. I'm not liking the pink. The pink is way too bright. It's too pink, not red enough. This pink is, it's a little bit more punchy, and this is a little bit more dull. And I think maybe the blue too, so maybe we can saturate them both a little bit. So let's do the blue first. Let's see. So let's grab one of these blues, and let's just, yeah. So which one is this? This is the top piece here, and this is the bottom piece here. Let's grab the blue and let's just drag it up to make it as saturated as it can get. It's got, you know, it's got a little bit of green in it, so let's just, no, that's not, I don't like that. So let's actually try grabbing something off one of the other pictures, because I don't like this pink. Let's try this guy. The one that I said I was going to work with originally. See, this pink looks, you can see it looks a lot more saturated compared to the other one. It's darker, but it's more saturated, and it's just, maybe you can just grab it and pull it this way a bit to, yeah, like that. That is nicer. A little bit darker, a little bit richer of a color. And I think once we put the white trim in here, these won't clash as well, and it'll stand a little bit nicer together. Right now it looks a little bad, and I think the white trim that goes in here is going to sort that out a lot. So you have this white strip that comes up here and this white strip that comes up here. I think that's going to make a big difference. And after we put the white in, if we still don't like what we see, then I can always go back and tweak these colors a little bit. But right now, let's just go and finish the front bumper and finish the rear bumper with the black and the pink, and then I'll put the white strips in, just because when I'm previewing the cars, this kind of is a little bit distracting. When I'm looking at the back, this is a little bit distracting. So if I make it pink like it's supposed to be, then I get a better feel for what things are supposed to look like. And why is this back? I thought I turned that off. Well, let's see now. Okay, so let's make a new group. Let's call it nose. Let's grab our pink off here. And so this is the nose of this particular car. It's divided into like 1 trillion pieces. Thank you for that one, iRacing. And so let's just draw a box around the nose. Fortunately, this is a fairly easy paint scheme with respect to the nose. There's nothing going up and down along here. These pieces here are this piece right here, and then the underside right here. So those get pink. These get painted pink too. And I know that because I've painted this template like who knows how many times now. And if you don't know what a piece is on a template, like I don't remember exactly which part. I know these belong, this and this belong on the rear, but I don't remember exactly where on the rear. And I know these pieces here are the insets, like these little pieces right here on the front, but I don't remember which one is which. And a good little tip in order to figure this out is you just go, for what I'm painting now, it doesn't really matter because all of these are just going to be pink. But if I was painting something where the colors actually need to change, what I usually do is I make a new layer. I'll pick some colors. I'll pick like red. And I'll use the brush. And I'll just paint one of these guys red. And then I'll go in here and I'll pick green. I'll paint one of them green. And then I'll pick, say blue. I'll paint one of them blue. I think this is another one, so I'll just go and I'll pick, say, yellow, and I'll paint one of them yellow, that, and I'll just save it, and then look, and now I can see what's what, right? I can see the blue one's here, the red one's here, the green piece is here, The yellow piece is here, and there's a red piece. That's weird. There's a red piece there and there. That's weird. Okay. So there's a red piece there and there. It looks like this piece is... Oh, okay. One is here and one is there. So this is one piece and this is one piece. So this is a good way to just, you know, quickly find out where things belong. Especially if you know where the pieces are. If you go on the forums, there are things called spot finder layers, which are useful. Is basically just a big grid with a bunch of numbers on it, and then you just save that over the entire picture, and then when you look in here, the entire car is covered with numbers. So you look at the piece you want to paint, you look at what number it is, and then you can come in here and figure out where on the template it is. For now, we're not concerned about that because all of these get the same color and the same treatment. That doesn't. This guy here belongs on the front, and I believe this guy here belongs on the front, if I'm not mistaken. Let's just double check I got everything. It looks like I did. There's nothing that's white, so alright. And I'm not going to worry about this right now because this is going to be, I'm going to put a carbon fiber texture on it. I'm not just going to make it black. I think I'm going to put a carbon fiber texture on it, so, well, I might as well do it now. So, let's just grab the black color, come in here, same in the nose folder because it belongs in the nose. I come in here, so, and so. Sometimes it doesn't, you pick the color and it doesn't, like it did now, it picked black as a foreground color and it just painted it pink anyway, so you can just change the color. Okay, save it, and then we'll see what we got. There we go. So now it looks like we're getting somewhere. Let me just do the back now, and then I'll start working on the white stripes, and I think I'll call it a day maybe after I finish the white stripes, and maybe I'll do this piece up here. We'll see how much time we have. So that looks fine. Is there, yeah, there's some white around here, so I need to find out where that is. I'll do that on my own time, and I'll fill that in, and I'll just tell you where this piece is. But it looks like there's some, oops, there's some white around, I think you can probably see it. There's some white right here on the inside, so I need to figure out where that is. So that's going to take me a little bit of time, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do that off camera. I'm not going to worry about it right now. And then I'll do these with you because these are a little bit of pain, so it's good to learn how to do those. Okay, so right now let's just do the back. So make a new folder, we'll call it rear. And so this is the rear of the template. So the rear of the template's a little bit wonky as well. It's kind of all over the place like everything else on this template. So this piece here, I know, is the inset behind this. So it follows the trim around here and then is underneath these vents here. So we're not going to worry about that because if you look closely at the... I have one that shows the back nicely. I don't. So if you look really closely here, it looks like this black comes down and then it just follows the trunk lid. Right, so it's going to just come down up here and then just follow this line here. So all of this is going to be white, and then everything down here is going to be black. So that should be really easy because this looks like it's a really recognizable part in the car. So let's just save it with the wireframe on. And I think it's just the top of this piece here actually. Yeah, okay, so that's really easy. I think that's going to be really easy. You just color this whole piece in, okay? So let's do that. Color this piece in like so. These are the headlight, the mirrors. I'm not going to worry about them right now. So, like so, and like so. And let's see where that gets us. Save it as my backup, just in case. And that gets us that. I like that. That's good. I like that. It's actually okay. So if you look closely, it's not perfect. So I'm not happy with it actually. There's a little piece right here. We're gonna have to go in and find that and fill it. I think I know where this is. It shouldn't be that difficult. There's also this piece right here, which is easy to find. There's all of these vents here, which are scattered all over the template. This bottom piece here, and then there's trim between these, and you'll see this trim after I paint everything else black. Let me just paint everything else black, and then we'll worry about filling that little piece in. I think it's this piece right here. But let's fill in, so this bottom piece here, which is this piece right here, and then we'll do at the same time we'll do this piece here, which is this piece right here. So we'll just make this whole guy black like that. Okay, and now there's all of these little vents in here which are scattered. I don't know which one is which offhand. You have to use this painting them all separately technique to figure them out. But these little pieces are scattered all over the template, these little vents. And these guys. So it's these guys here, these guys here, these guys here, these ones here, and these ones here are those pieces. So let's just color them in. So, and we'll do both of these ones together, like so. Doesn't matter if you cover the whole mask, as long as you hit everything on the wireframe with a little bit on the outside. That's usually good enough to get the whole thing. So let's turn this wireframe off, save it, and let's see what we have. Okay, so there you can see the whole back is now painted black. Okay, except for this part, obviously, because it's part of the right side of the car, which we haven't painted yet. And we have this weird piece of trim down here. And this weird piece of trim is on the opposite side of the template. It's all the way down here. See this little strip right here? That's the trim. And it took me a long time to find that the first time I was painting it. So let's color that in. Save it again. And see, now it's filled in, so it looks nice. It's nice and clean. So now that we have that done, I think the pink might be okay. Might be a little too strong. I might tone it down a bit off camera, and if I do, I'll tell you. It's just playing with colors. It's going to take some time. So now let's get these white stripes in. So there's a white stripe that comes down like this and one like this. This one, the one that comes here, kind of just tapers off and then fades in before this actually comes to a point. So it comes in like this and then fades in like right here. And this one just comes all the way around and then it's kind of even and uniform all the way through. So I think I have a way of, or a strategy to tackle this. So let's do this one first. And if it doesn't work, we might try a different strategy. So my strategy is I'm going to grab this blue layer. I'm going to make a copy of it and then make it white. Then I'm going to grab it and then I'm going to pull it down below the blue layer that's above it. So it's the same as the piece that's masking up this black. So I'm going to grab it and I'm going to drag it below that, so now it's invisible. Now I'm going to hit the pointer button, the move tool, and with the arrow keys I can nudge this around. I'm going to nudge it like this. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to nudge it like that, and then I'm going to grab this control point, and I'm just going to move it down so that it fades in. And then, because it kind of tapers off, I need to grab this guy and just move him down as well. Let's save it first. And we'll see, it looks a little, let me just tweak it. It looks like it comes up and then comes down, and it's not really smooth, so let me just smooth it out a bit. And the reason I do it like this, rather than drawing it from scratch, is sometimes when you're drawing something from scratch, it's hard to match the contours of the line perfectly, and so some pieces look really thick and some pieces look really thin as it goes, and if you just duplicate it and move it, you have the same contour. So if you're just very careful when you move things down and kind of taper it off, then you usually end up with a nice smooth curve that follows the contours, like that. Now, does that need to be thicker? Let's see. I think it should be a little bit thicker, but it needs to be thicker at the bottom, I think, not at the top. I don't want to move this up more this way, so I'm going to actually grab the blue, and I think I'm going to move it back this way to make it thicker. So instead of grabbing this and moving up, I'm going to grab this and move it down just a little bit. And over here, I'm going to grab this one and just move it down a little bit, just to thicken it out. I'm just going to double check and make sure. I'm just going to move this up a little bit. I'm looking at it and it doesn't look perfectly smooth. The same with this one. So I'm just going to move it up a little bit more, and I'm going to give it a little bit of a rotate. Yeah, that looks better. So let's see. Yes, I like that better. A little bit thicker. Definitely liking that. Okay. Now let's get started on this, and I think we've been going for a while, so I'm going to do this, and I think I'm going to call it a video there. So let's get started on that. And so there's a couple of ways you can go around getting around doing this. I think what most people would do without even thinking is to double click this, open the layer styles, put on a stroke. So this just puts a stroke around the path, or around your shape. So put it on stroke and then make it white. You can change the size here, and that's fine. It gives you some problems up here because it strokes the entire thing, and that's fine. That's easy enough to mask off. That's not too much of an issue. This is the issue I find when using the stroke. If you look at the paint scheme, well, let me just save it and I'll show you. And this is something you gotta be careful with when using the stroke, is that it does this and it doesn't always look good. So if you look at what we have, this all looks fine. Looks perfect right here. Here it looks terrible. This looks really bad, because if you look at the actual picture, it comes to a point. It comes to a nice sharp point before it pulls back. And because what the stroke is doing is basically taking a round brush and going around the outside, it rounds this corner off. So this is fine. You can do it like this if you want. There's nothing wrong with it. I would go in after you do this with the pen tool and kind of come in and make a shape to fill in the rest of this to make it sharp, and then I would say that's fine. But what I'm going to try doing, so what I was actually going to try to do is to duplicate this layer, move it forward, change it white just like we did over here, but I'm actually thinking now I'm going to take the stroke and do exactly what I said and fill that in rather than do this, because if I try to do that, when I pull this forward, this is going to get really thick, but this isn't, because as it moves forward, since this line is almost completely horizontal, it's not going to get as thick as this part is when I start dragging it out. So this is going to get really thick and this isn't. So I'm thinking I might actually do this. So I'll just grab this, I'll pull it down, then I'll just mask it off with some blue. I'll put some blue on top to cover it up so you don't see it, and then I'll come in here and tweak this and fill that in. So yeah, I think that's the best way of doing it actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these control points and I'm just going to move them away from everything else so I can easily cover them up. Now I could do this with masks. That might be the quickest way for me to do it, or the easiest way for me to do it as well. But then we don't have much time because I've been talking for almost 45 minutes now. I don't want to get into covering masks right now, so maybe at the start of next video I'll show you how to do this with using a mask instead of just picking the pen tool, and it's going to open up when you start doing it, because the last thing I was doing was stroked. It's going to do a stroke by default, so you can just grab the effect like this and you just grab it in your hand and you throw it in the trash can and it goes away. And I'm just gonna go in and cover that up. I'm gonna turn the opacity down so I can see what I'm doing. Come in here, this, come down like so, finish it up. Okay, so now we've covered up this. And using masks would have been even easier than quicker than doing that. You basically would have set a mask and covered it all up. But I'll show you how to do that next episode. So now we're going to grab some white. We're going to come in here and fill this point in. So this wireframe is getting in the way a lot right now. So I'm going to turn the wireframe off. And basically what you're doing now is you're just going to start what I do is when I do this, I start way back. So I don't start all the way over here, I start way back here. So if there's any deviations in my line, I can tell. And then I'm gonna come back like this. I'm gonna grab this control point, spin it around. Just like, oh, this one doesn't have it like that. Well, either way, it doesn't matter. So this one just has it cut off, so I'll just cut it off. And then I'll go straight back and turn the opacity down so I can see my line compared to where everything else is. And then I'll just rough it in so that they match up almost completely. I usually drag this one down a little bit lower than it needs to be, so it kind of just fades into the original line. Turn the opacity up. Okay. And now this layer, for some reason, has chosen to put itself on top of everything, so it's this one. So I'll grab this layer, which is this piece here, which belongs on the rear. You can see it flickering on and off, and I'll just grab it and I'll drag it into the rear, and it'll put it in there. Now I'll grab this, which is our mask up here, and I'll drag it down here below the blue. So now we have a nice sharp point. Now we can just tweak it just a little bit, because that's actually pretty good. So let's see what it looks like. And so there you go. So now we have this piece that comes up here. It's got a nice stroke on it. It's got the white trim just like the real car. This. And it comes to a sharp point and then pulls back like the real car. So I think I'll leave everything there, because I think I'd be talking for about 40 minutes or 45 minutes now. I'll find this piece on my own time and I'll paint it in. I'll show you where it is on the template, because off the top of my head I have no idea where this is. And then we'll do this stripe next episode, I guess. We'll duplicate the two sides. We'll take everything on this side and we'll duplicate it and put it on this side, and we'll finish up this stuff back here and the wing mirrors. And I think what I'm going to do next episode, we'll also try to do these guys here, the wheel wells. We'll finish up this piece right here because the black on the real car goes a little higher. Maybe we'll do that, maybe we'll not. We'll see how it looks. We'll throw some carbon fiber on here, maybe. We'll see how it looks. And then what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to throw in some metallic layers. So you learn how to use some metallic layers. And then the next episode after that, we'll start putting logos on. And yeah, maybe we'll do the door handles next episode as well. We'll see how far we get. So, thanks for watching, guys. Happy painting and happy racing. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.